Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Robo Celestial here with a new video for you. Welcome to part 2 of What If Deku Was a Saiyan. I just wanted to greet you guys by just saying, sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So, we begin. After the stadium was prepared, all the fights would go to like in the anime, but Izuku would be the one to fight Ida. They both walk onto the stage. Izuku bows and gets into his fighting stance. Ida does the same and says, I hope one of us wins. I care which one, we have both tried our hardest to get here. Izuku nods and Present Mike says go. Idiot rushes towards Izuku with a RESEPRO burst and tries to push him off. But Izuku dodges this, surprised the whole crowd since the Recepro burst was so fast. How could Izuku have moved faster? Izuku then says, sorry, but I want to be number one. The last words he heard before being knocked out were Kitakyushu Windy Vortex. Present Mike announces moved the crowd that Izuku win and the next few battles would go by fast, and then the battle of Bakugo and Izuku begins. Bakugo doesn't feel afraid. He thinks he can easily destroy Deku. After this fight they will need to take you to the Earth. Izuku grins and replies, I doubt it. If anything, you would have to retire early cause of this fight. Bakugo is confused and thinks if this is the Izuku he has known for most of their childhood. Present Mike starts to narrate and scream go. Bakugo charges in for an explosion, prepares himself to take the hit, but Bakugo blasts himself up to get behind Izuku and blast him, sending him flying. Deku lands on his feet and wipes the blood off his nose and says that we're pretty good now, I'm all warmed up. Bakugo says in rage and confusion, damn you monkey. He charges in for a punch. Deku moves his head and dodges. Bakugo tries again and again, but all of his attempts are failures. Bakugo tries to go in for an explosion, but Deku pushes his arm away and slams him in the chest that sends him flying into the ground. Bakugo tries to get up, but barely can't. He asks Deku, how did you get this much power? A powerless monkey like you shouldn't have this much powers. Deku replies with, well, you see, you're not dealing with the average powerless Deku anymore. I trained and trained to reach this level to surpass you, and I'll go beyond my limits and become the #1 hero. This pisses Bakugo off, and he says, impossible, I'm supposed to be the best, not you. Grr, I'll win right here, right now. Bakugo gets up and grin. Deku gets ready for an attack. Bakugo charges forward. Deku launches 3 Kyoto Blast at him. Bakugo dodges them and gets right up close. Deku tries to dodge, but Bakugo lets out a huge explosion, blasting Deku back. He uses the smoke from the explosion to sneak up on Deku. Deku senses present and throws punch, but nothing there. Bakugo comes from behind with another explosion larger than before, launching Deku again. Bakugo charges at Deku to stop him for recovering from the attack, but Deku counters this and flies up into the sky. Deku thinks to himself, he can't reach me from here. Bakugo shouts, stop being a scared monkey or else I'll come up there to bring you down. Deku thinks he is bluffing, but Bakugo starts using his explosions to fly up towards Deku. Deku launches a ton of tiny Kai blasts to stop Bakugo, but Bakugo maneuvers around them pretty well while getting hit by a few. Bakugo goes up close for another explosion. Deku stops this by elbowing him in the stomach and then spins around and kicks him in the side, sending him back to the ground. Bakugo still isn't giving out. He flies back up and try again. Deku does the same thing as last, but Bakugo sees through this and says, you forgot about my left hand, and launching an explosion, badly injuring Deku. Bakugo says, I'm not done. Yet he rushes forward towards Deku to stop him for flying around and lands several punches. Then he throws Deku towards the ground with an explosion, causing a big cloud of smoke and dust to cover the arena. Deku thinks to himself, if I can distract him and somehow get behind him, then how? Then suddenly Deku thinks of an idea. Bakugo still in the air, using his explosion to keep him up and saying, pathetic monkey, it was fun while it lasted, but I'll always be #1. Thinks he's won, and so does Present Mike. Present Mike says, will we have? And when a blast comes up, Bakugo dodges it. But then another one comes up, and he dodges that one too. Bakugo says, is that all you got? Deku yells no, and powers up to Jasu Jujutsu X4. Deku flies down and kick Bakugo before he can react and launch him outside of the ring, knockout and in very bad condition. Present Mike yells the winner of the sports festival is Deku. The medic comes and takes him away to treat him. Deku body may be strained from the Jasu Jujutsu, but he's quite happy that he's won the sports festival. Deku stands on the first podium with excitement and joy, with Bakugo in second being so angry they had to chain him up, and Todoroki in third with no words at all. All Might jump down and give Deku the first place medal, saying, great job young Meteor, you showed your strength, attitude, and will in this sports festival. You deserve this medal, congrats. All Might move the Bakugo and says, young Bakugo, you are strong, but the way you speak and you're angry needs to be controlled better. Bakugo shouts back, screw you, and tries to get out of the chains. All Might sees this and quickly puts the medal on this neck and then leaves quickly to Todoroki. All Might says, Todoroki, you may be strong, but you were too cocky. With some training, I see some great potential in you. The next day, everyone in class and Aizawa says, we're choosing hero names and Midnight will be helping you guys with that. Idea asks why not you. Aniawa lies with because I don't care, but secretly it's because he not good at names. Everybody names themselves the same, but when it's Bakago's turn, everyone is speechless. Deku is horrified by the name. Bakago shouts, my name is King Explosion Monkey Murder. Midnight says, that's a terrible name. Bakago rewrites it and yells Lord King Explosion Monkey Murder, which makes the class and Deku in even more shock and fear. Midnight says that's not a good name again. Bakago shouts back, why the hell not? Midnight says, that name makes you sound like a villain and it's targeted to one specific person too. Bakago replies with, oh yeah, I'll make a new name out of you. He's about to attack Midnight, but she puts him to sleep and bring him back to this desk. Everyone is speechless because of this. Aniawa walks back in and says, thank you Midnight, I'll take it from here. Aniawa sees Bakago sleeping on his desk and slaps him with his cloth, waking him up. Bakago says, which one of you bastards did that? So I can blow you up. Aniawa deletes his quirk and wraps his cloth around his mouth and says, shut up kid, you shouldn't be so rowdy. Now we'll look at the offers you got from the hero agencies. In this deck you got the most offers out of everyone in the class. Everyone is amazed by this beside Bakago, which he coughs this off. Anazawa says, you guys got until today to choose your agencies. Deku has so many options what to choose. The bell rings and Idea, Uraraka, and Deku are walking down the hall. Idea asks both of them which hero agencies they are going to. Uraraka says she's doing Gunhead's office. Ida says he's going with his brother. Then they both ask Deku what hero agency is he going to. Deku says, I don't know too many of them to choose from. Suddenly All Might runs in and says, I am here. Young Midoriya, care to have lunch with me? Deku sits down with All Might and tells him he wants to give you something to repay you for me not giving you my quirk. Deku says, it's okay, but what is it? All Might says, young Midoriya, 4 have gotten a call with Gran Torino, my old trainer. Deku says, you were trained by Gran Torino. All Might says yes, and if he wants, he can intern with Gran Torino. Deku takes the offer and the next day he heads towards Gran Torino, and when he walks in he sees an old man covered in red liquid. Deku thinks he's dead, but Gran Torino pops up and say, hello, I split my tomato juice. Gran Torino says, so you're the boy who All Might is talking about? Interesting. Gran Torino says, well, get to training, and Deku says, we're training already, I'll hold back so I don't hurt your old body. Gran Torino says, there's no need to hold back, and runs towards Deku and disappears. Deku is shocked as he that fast and try to sense where he is. He feels him from behind, so he throws a punch and Gran Torino says, to slow, and hits Deku in the hips. Gran Torino says, now don't hold back because I'm only using 10% of my power. Deku is shocked and says, only 10%. Gran Torino says, I saw how you fight. You might have power in close and long range attacks, but your speed lacks a lot. Also, that technique you used against Bakago, I could tell you weren't ready to use that yet. I specialize in speed SP. This will help you. Now come at me. Deku runs and disappears too. Gran Torino starts to move even faster than before, enabling him to catch up to Deku and overpower him. Deku doesn't give up and increase his speed more. Gran Torino does the same too. There are just noises and waves coming from every attack they throw. Deku lands a good hit on Gran Torino, sending him flying towards his fridge. Gran Torino quickly rebounds back with even more and kicks Deku in the stomach, sending him into the ground. Gran Torino says to himself, this kid has some potential. Why didn't All Might give his quirk to him instead of Myro? Gran Torino says, that, for now, let's have some lunch. Thank you all for sticking around, and I hope that you enjoyed. Before you leave, we would just like to let you know that We the Celestials has many other channels for your entertainment and viewing purposes. All the information you'll need is right below here in the description. So feel free to check out all the other incredible projects our team creates. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. That's all for today's video. So goodbye and have a divine day.